Minnesota, the Rockets up 1-0 in that series. Hi, everyone. Welcome courtside here in Oklahoma City alongside Mike Fratello. I'm Spero Dedes. We'll hear from Dennis Scott in just a couple of minutes. Good start for the young Utah Jazz in Game 1. They jumped out to the 16-4 lead, but down the stretch, Mike, just too much of this Oklahoma City team, and Paul George was magnificent.
The self-proclaimed playoff piece says, if I have a good fishing day the day before a playoff game, I know I'm having a good playoff game. Well, he must have had a great fishing day because he was simply sensational. 8 of 11 from behind the three-point line. Remember, this is the guy that a year ago, although they were swept by Cleveland, he averaged 28 points against LeBron James and the Cleveland Cavaliers. When you combine his 36 points along with 29 by Russell Westbrook, this is a tough duo to defeat in this building especially.
Well, big time for the Utah Jazz. We mentioned a good start, certainly not the ending that they wanted, but they acquitted themselves very well considering just how inexperienced this team is. As Snyder told us earlier tonight, they didn't even expect to be here, but boy, did they play well. And what a season it's been for Donovan Mitchell, their rookie, who had 27 points, Mike, in his playoff debut.
I'm not sure the Utah Jazz realized just how much talent Donovan Mitchell had when they first brought him into training camp. But they quickly discovered that this guy can fill the basket up, and he's a multi-talented player. Not only did they count on him for the entire season to lead them in scoring, but they put the ball in his hand and asked him to be a good decision-maker with the ball. Then they slide him over and ask him to be a lockdown defender. And tonight, maybe more than any other time, they need him to be big on the glass, help out rebounding if they're going to beat OKC.
Mitchell, of course, had to leave the game late with the game already at hand. That bruised pinky on his left foot, but he is ready and will make the start tonight. So the tip-off here in Game 2 coming up in just a couple of minutes. In the meantime, let's go back to the guys in the studio as we toss it back to Rick Hamlow.
Spiro Czar, thank you very much. Let's get you some highlights here. This game's on TNT as we speak. LeBron and the Cavaliers hosting the Pacers, Game 2. Look at the difference here. Game 1 for LeBron in the first quarter, nothing. 20 points on 9 of 12. Grit scored the first 16 for Cleveland tonight.
Well, I think it was 16 LeBron, 3 Indiana at one point. I think it's safe to say that Ty Lue calling LeBron out and encouraging him to be more aggressive was received in the same way it was when he did it to him in the finals when we came back from 3-1 down.
33-18 at the end of one, but back come the Pacers.
No, yeah, and they're going to fight back. And if you're this Pacers team, you know going on the road, you have to blow Cleveland out for them not to have a chance. So LeBron is sitting pretty right now, knowing he has the lead, and the home crowd in Cleveland can bring him home. Trust me, I've been there.
It was a 7-point game. Then Korver hits a 3. It's a 10. Now same score. LeBron driving and jamming right in the face of Miles Turner. Where was Lance to thwart that attempt?
Yeah, Lance is missing right now. I don't see him on the stat board at all.
There he is, 6 points, T.A.
Oh, 6 points. Okay. Yeah. I don't see no excitement, though.
Turner with 11 to lead the Pacers, but the story is LeBron James. We talked before the game about, 23, 7, and 4. As we speak about the competitive response that we would get from LeBron James tonight. Nobody should be surprised by what we're seeing there, right, Tony?
This is one of the guy who you probably argue probably one of the best players that's in the game right now, and with his aggressive attack, it got them up 10 points.
And Ryan, what in terms of looking ahead to our game, Utah and OKC? What does Utah lost Game 1? What do they have to do differently here in Game 2 to even this series?
If I'm Utah, I challenge their problems all year long. Trust and ball movement. I'm going to blitz pick and rolls. I'm going to load up on strong sides. I'm going to crowd shooters and see if they're willing to make 4 or 5 passes to an open shot.
I think it gets a lot harder to do that if Paul George is as aggressive as he needs to be. Last year when Cleveland beat Indiana in the playoffs, PG averaged 28 points, 8.8 rebounds, 7.3 assists, and shot 43% from 3. And he was doing that while LeBron was getting up under him at the end of games as well.
Yeah.
Those games, it was a sweep, but they were an incredibly tight series. And it's because Paul can be special in a way that you can't defend. And the more they run through Paul, and the more they let Russ be a player of opportunity, instead of being the focal point, I think the better off they'll be.
Call him out, girl.
I agree with that, too. I agree.
Tony, let's talk Rudy Gobert here. 14 points, 7 rebounds, and 2 blocks in Game 1. That's not enough, is it? Does 20 and 10 with 5 blocks? What does Gobert need to do tonight?
I just think you need to continue that stat line, probably be more aggressive on the defensive end, probably as far as clouding up the paint, probably go for more offensive rebounds. Just give him some type of energy. Him being the biggest guy on the court. I mean, pick and roll, get a dunk, some type of energy, give him a spark so he can help his other guys rally his run.
Who's going to be the best player on the court tonight?
I'm not psychic, but if I had to pick, I'm going back with Paul George.
Okay.
Yeah.
Best player on the court tonight.
Ooh, this is tough. I'm going to say I'm going to go Westbrook. I still think he's the consistent factor. He's the engine behind this team, even though you may not like the way it looks, but I still think he has a lot.
Well, I'm going PG. I think playoff P is a real thing because I watched it. And
whether Dennis Scott coined the nickname or not?
Yeah, I don't care if we're going to give 3D the credit. That guy's an animal come playoff time, and very much like KD, he's so big. When he rises up, he's going to get the shot off no matter who you are.
This is the 4-5 series in the West. This game promises to be intense, entertaining, and on the other side, it is Spero Dedes, Mike Fratello, Dennis Scott with the call. We'll see you soon, everybody. Enjoy the game.